mission is simple. Beat Northwestern.
You are Locked On Huskers, your daily podcast on the Nebraska Cornhuskers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Varsity, go Big Red. I'm DP. Thanks for making Locked On Huskers your first watch and listen each and every single day. I appreciate you coming to hang out with me each and every single day to get news on your Huskers every single day. Before we get into the content, the meat and potatoes of this show, Mark Onweiler, if you would please let them know about BetterHelp.
Thank you, DP. This episode of Locked On Huskers is sponsored by BetterHelp. Do you ever feel like your brain is getting in its own way? Like you know what you should do, what's good for you, but you just can't do it? Well, therapy can help you figure out what's holding you back so you can work for yourself instead of against yourself. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire and get matched with a licensed therapist. And switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. Make your brain your friend with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/LockedOnCollege today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/LockedOnCollege. DP, back to you.
Thank you, buddy. Greatly appreciated. I'm feeling a little bit more of a vibe. And I have to say that the hype train is in full. I have submerged myself in the Kool-Aid, in the red Kool-Aid it is Husker mania. And listen, through all of this, it's an opportunity. And that's what I'm really hyped about. We don't control the results. You don't control how you respond to it. But in the preparation for it, Nebraska has an opportunity against Northwestern. And this is why we want to tell the story. So thank you for making it the first watch and listen. If you have not subscribed, hit pause. I'll freeze. Hit the subscribe button. Get the content on a daily and regular basis. In this episode, I want to cover a couple of things. And to be sure, we understand as fans of Husker Nation and members of the Sea of Red that we have an opportunity for this program to take a monumental step. It is a huge opportunity and a huge step. There are several things in play, but one I want to start with is this. To hear Northwestern's coach make a comment that at their presser this week, and he was asked about, well, it's a little different playing in front of, a crowd in Evanston versus coming into the Sea of Red and having to deal with 90,000. And David Braun, again, the interim coach, has got his history of coaching at a lower level. But this Northwestern team, to date, hasn't played in the environment that they're about to walk into. Now, there are players who have played. Remember, a year ago, this game was in Ireland. It was in Dublin. And then a couple of years ago, they've been there. But a lot of the players on this roster and this coaching staff and their ability to communicate will be tested. They've spent substantial amounts of time this week trying to figure out how they're going to communicate within the confines of Memorial Stadium and in dealing with and engaging the Sea of Red. Listen, I understand that you think you're prepared, but playing at Piscataway is not the same as playing in Lincoln, Nebraska Memorial Stadium. The Mecca awaits you. And I wanted to just infuse some of the fervor that I think is going to be required and necessary at Memorial Stadium to give full amplification and elevation to the Sea of Red. An opportunity and a responsibility to impact the game. Memorial Stadium is not Evanston Field. It's not Ryan Field in Evanston. It's just not. And yeah, Northwestern went down to Durham, North Carolina. And listen, this team's 0-2 on the road. They lost at Duke and they lost at Rutgers. We can speak. We don't have to project forward to talk honestly about what you're walking into. And yes, this is a team that at home beat Minnesota. They accomplished a thing that Nebraska hasn't accomplished. They weren't able to accomplish. But they went on the road twice. This is a team that 2 weeks ago played at home against Howard University. And again, I'm from DC. Howard was actually my first verbal commit. Howard University is not the University of Nebraska in football or anything else. Like, I don't understand. Normally I get a vibe before the game on how I feel. And for you regular followers of Locked On Huskers, you probably know that I stay away from the extra hype, the overhype. It's just not, I'm not built that way. The coach in me wants to stay balanced and level. But as a fan, I understand that if Coach Braun is talking about the Sea of Red, he is awakening the beast. And I hope that Nebraska fans, that Husker Nation just rocks the building against Northwestern. Like, they're talking about, listen, we've got different hand signals that we're going to go through, different words that we're going to use in communication. We think we're able to match the Sea of Red in audio for practice. No, you can't. No, you can't. You better not be able to. And if they can, that means that Husker Nation, the Sea of Red, has become a river rather than the sea. And that's not acceptable, and that's not the way that folks want business to be done. So to impact the game at different corners of the stadium, Husker Nation needs, the student section has to be on fire. Listen, Grandpa and Grandma Husker, get off your butts tomorrow. Got to have it. Got to hear you. Mom and Dad, look, it's nice. Get your tailgate on. It's a 2:30 kickoff. You got plenty of time to get in your feelings and to get your elevation, your energy up, and your hype elevated. But this crowd has to be. This is an opportunity for Nebraska to be above 500 in the second half of the season by simply doing a thing that, by all measures of Nebraska football, historically, statistically, from the access to resources, to the level of talent acquired and accumulated, to the space that they play in, to the communities that they play for. Every single thing about this game screams, take the step. Do the next thing. Do your job. You don't have to be outside of yourself. Yeah, you're going to have, the alternate uniforms. You're going to pay homage to the blue that existed in the original uniform. You're going to have a little more hype. But once that is done, the crowd then gets to have an impact on the game. And that is being loud against a new quarterback for Northwestern, put him in a difficult situation, give him an additional thing to have to deal with, and that he's got to look over the sideline and get audibles and communicate that to his players. And the opportunity for this fan base to impact the game tomorrow is it's just a great opportunity. It's huge, big. And the mission is to go 1-0, beat Northwestern. With toward break, we'll come back. I want to get into some of this thing because in some of what Northwestern does, not being able to communicate will hinder what they're trying to do. We'll talk about that when we come back to Lockdown. Take a deep breath in. Breathe it in. Can you feel it? That is a Beat Northwestern vibe. Thank you for being a part of Locked On Huskers. Again, your Huskers every day. It is appreciated that you will come and hang with us. Mark Onwaller, if you would please let them know about FanDuel.
Thank you, DP. This episode of Locked On Huskers is brought to you by FanDuel. Snap into action this NFL season with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $500 bet. That's $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action. The app is easy to use. There's a wide range of betting options, including spreads, player props, over-unders, and more. So visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and kick off the NFL season. FanDuel, the official partner of the NFL.
Thank you, Mark. Appreciate it. Again, I'm in fighting form today. I feel inspired, and I feel the juice of being able to ponder the best version of this Nebraska team, and that's literally all that I'm thinking about. This is not asking something of this football team that it's not capable or is available to them. I'm asking for them to have the best version of themselves in the simplest version of themselves. Yes, there's going to be new talent on the field in some positions. Yes, you're getting some returning talent at some existing positions. Yes, you have some normalcy with Heinrich Harburg being your quarterback. Yes, Anthony Grant will have an opportunity to have a big day. Great matchups in play. Should be a great crowd. The reality is the crowd part of it is what's getting me hyped. Walking around Lincoln and being in this space, and the vibe is this. There's a matter, what's the Billy Joel song? It's a matter of trust. That Nebraska fans are starting to feel like we're going to give you this chance to have us 100% buy in. And in doing so, they're preparing Nebraska fans and Nebraska as a team for this thing to sound like Memorial Stadium can sound at its fullest. To fully expect that not only on third down, when the PA tells you, get on your feet and make some noise, we need to hear you, that it happens on first down. 1st and 10, I need for it to be difficult for Northwestern to get its plays in. I want them stuck with the personnel that they have on the field defensively. I need offensively hard for them to communicate. I need a new quarterback to have to look over the sideline and cover his ears and try to get the communication in. And that can be done in the simplest of ways. For every person in red at the stadium, that their ability to impact the game added. Look, when 90,000 people do something together, you can't lose. That should be the working mentality behind this. And as you show up to Memorial Stadium and as you turn your TV on and wherever you watch the game and whoever you watch it with, shared energy is a real thing. So it's an opportunity for Nebraska to take a step forward. The 12th man is legit at Memorial Stadium. Sometimes that 12th man can become a part of the opponent. Because if you're sitting on your hands and you're spending your time talking about what happened on Instagram or what's going wrong, you're not impacting the game in a way that you could or should. I want the hype behind this, that it's first down and Husker Nation and the Sea of Red stands. I've heard the legend of no-sit Sunday in basketball and that, or no-sit Saturday. I'm not sure which one it was. But the idea that fans were so committed to a positive thing happen that they made a conscious decision to just stand with the basketball team in its greatest game and its biggest moment to help them cross the border from good to great. And on that day, the reports were that was done. It is a highly energetic day in Lincoln, Nebraska, because at 2:30, Nebraska has a chance for the football program to be 4-3 with its eyes forward and up. And then at 7 o'clock, most of those fans, a lot of those fans, well, not most of them, a lot of those fans will then make the trek from Memorial Stadium to Bob Devaney Center to try to elevate and amplify number 1 Wisconsin and number 2 Nebraska to the point that Nebraska does the thing that it needs to do in order for it to feel like the most prominent program and team in women's college volleyball. A lot of the fans believe it's true. I believe that the players believe it's true. Great opportunity. But the fans is what makes all of this thing go, and the ability to impact women's volleyball. We saw it with 90,000 at Memorial Stadium. We're going to see it in a sold-out house at Bob Devaney. But to see it against Northwestern, as big a game exist on this football schedule is Northwestern. This game is huge. And the players have been at work. That's been the reports from practice. That's been the reports when you talk to the players and what the players feel like they put into the pot. They feel like they've energized and set this thing up. They feel good about it. The coaching staff have talked about it. Listen, we like what we've put in. We like what we've done. We like where we're at. And then the fan base. Matter of trust. Does Nebraska fans and the Sea of Red fully believe that they can impact this game and then to choose to do so? It's one thing to say it. It's another thing to do it. And this is how important this game is. 4-3 versus 3-4. 3-4 is a different set of conversations, and it's a different vibe. 4-3 says a lot. And in saying that, go 1-0 against Northwestern. We're not talking about Ohio State. We're not talking about Michigan. We're talking about beating another Big Ten 3-3 team. We're talking about beating them at your own place. And let me tell you, as a coach, as a player, rules of the game stand as such. Nobody, and I mean nobody, should feel comfortable walking into Memorial Stadium without their dukes up, prepared for a fight to the finish. All of the numbers that we've shared throughout the course of this week, all of the rushing numbers for Nebraska's offense versus Northwestern's defense. The ability to do that. Nebraska's run-stopping defense versus Northwestern's run game that has been less than stellar. Tony White and the defensive schemes that will allow him to mix things up and force Northwestern to throw into spaces that they aren't comfortable on times when it's not reasonable. We will spend time in the final segment going over some of those things. But ultimately, the vibe of Nebraska running the ball well and Nebraska defending the run well should be enough for Nebraska fans to just let it rip. Let it rip. Save your vocals on a Friday night, amp yourself up on a Saturday morning, and oh my goodness gracious, let it rip at Memorial Stadium. They just need to go 1-0. We'll throw it to break and come back. We'll close out this episode of Locked On Huskers. Again, final segment. Greatly appreciate you guys hanging out with me on a day where opportunity is alive. Opportunity is a vibe. Opportunity is the mission. Opportunity is a responsibility. Husker Nation, this entire episode is to challenge you to be at your vocal and energetic best, at your highest level, amplified and elevated. Being able to invoice to lift up Nebraska football to a win over Northwestern. 4-3 is the mission and the task, and there are lots of things in play. But to talk about what's required, sometimes Nebraska fans will wait for a special teams play, which is an opportunity to against Northwestern. And then sometimes it's a big play in the passing game that turns it, you know what, we get to stretch the field and you see the young folks make a big play and score points. All of that is fine and dandy. But the identity and the culture and the tendency of this Nebraska team as it currently stands is we run the ball and we stop you from running the ball. And in those things, sometimes fans can get settled in. 4 yards, 5 yards, 3 yards, 6 yards, 3 yards. The challenge for Husker Nation is to stay up, to stay loud, and to stay positive in those drives. First downs, outstanding. No, you don't want to be loud and crazy when we're calling plays. But when you get a first down or you make a big play, when the chains move, make some noise. When the chains move, make some noise. When the chains move, make some noise. And then when the scoreboard changes, make some noise. Harburg, Grant, running the ball tomorrow is an exceptional opportunity. That's what's going to win the game. Can the offensive line simply be the big boys that we dream and wish that they are? Can the big boys up front on the offensive line, can you have a day? Can you be disciplined? Can you be smart? Can you be physical? Can you finish? Husker Nation will stand with you if you can. Defensively, the task is simple. Shut down the run. If Northwestern can beat you throwing the football, that's a whole other thing. I don't think they can, and I'm not sure Nebraska thinks they can. Tony White, I cannot speak for Coach White. But listen, that stellar run defense that has been put in play for Nebraska gives the fan base an opportunity to be loud the entire time on defense. Be loud, be on your feet, bang the chairs, stomp your feet, make some noise. Get yourself some hot tea and some lemon, and let's fire this bad boy up at Memorial Stadium. If Nebraska is rock solid, sound in the defensive run game, Nebraska has every opportunity to walk out of that building 1-0 against Northwestern and 4-3 for the season. I'm just saying it's not going to take much, but it is going to take all. Big opportunities for Nebraska. Wouldn't be surprised if they put up some numbers. The matchups are there. They exist. The schemes exist. And quite frankly, I don't think this team would want to play in front of any other group of fans than the 90,000 plus in the sea of red that is Memorial Stadium. I expect to see you, hear you, feel you as Nebraska attempts to go 1-0 against Northwestern. The sounds of Hail Varsity are in my head, and we will close with the beautiful three words that we love so much. I expect to hear it at Memorial Stadium in full. Go Big!